Sigmatic Saki donates $25. They say, good morning, SGDQ. Super excited for the Castlevania block and excited as always to watch it together with my bestie from the other side of the globe. Guiltless, you are my morning star with a heart. That's so sweet. Battered Burrito donates $75 and says, there once was a host of GDQ. He was amazing at what he do. He sat there all day watching in dismay at the sheer talent, this GDQ. And GenPost64 donates $25 as well. They say, there was a block of remote, which this limerick will promote. They play the games fast, we'll all have a blast. So don't you dare touch your remote. The Captain donates $25, simply saying, Castlevania, hype! I am loving how everyone's waking up today. You know, okay, this donation from Fishy Business, I love it. I'm actually not going to finish it. I would like the crowd to finish it for me, and you'll know what to say. So Fishy Business donates $15, and they say, ye, and I cannot stress this enough, ha! Thank you, everyone. Sammy P donates $25. They say, love this event and so excited to listen through my workday. Hyper Guyver donates $25, and they say, there once was a warrior with a whip. He was looking for parts of the castle to skip. He came to fight Drac. He didn't look back. Victory was fast, and there was nothing new to equip. Thank you, Hyper Guyver. We have a donation from Nikki who donates $20. Nikki says, so glad to have SGDQ to watch during my self-imposed quarantine. I am marrying my best friend next weekend and need to stay healthy. Thank you, Nikki. Congratulations. Anonymous donates $250, and they simply say, Castlevania hype! Anonymous donates $100. Thank you so much. Another anonymous donation, this one for $10. All you GDQ watchers rejoice, as I have Mello lend me his voice. By making him holler, we just got $10. The money goes to Runner's Choice. That's great, thank you very much for that. We're having such a great time at SGDQ 22. I just want to take a moment to talk to you all about Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders, or MSF, is an international medical humanitarian aid organization providing life-saving medical humanitarian care in over 70 countries around the world. MSF is committed to independence, impartiality, and neutrality. These principles are what make it possible for MSF to respond rapidly to emergencies and providing life-saving medical care in situations where many other organizations can't or won't. 90% of MSF staff is national, meaning they live locally and are from the country where they work. Give it up for Doctors Without Borders, everyone. We have a $5 donation from Sir Kai, who says, we have seen Super Castlevania 4 many times at GDQ, but it's always a good run to watch. Also, shout out to all the online runners. It's nice to the people that can't travel to the USA this event. Thank you so much for that, Sir Kai. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, remote runners carried us through the last 2 years of events. We are smack dab in the middle of remote block, and we are on site, we are online, and no matter where you see us, we are hype! Cyberbot X donates $25, and they say, what is a GDQ? A miserable little pile of speedruns. But enough talk, have at you. Looking forward to the Castlevania runs while I'm at work. And put this into getting the secret mace in Ico. Ooh. And a $25 donation from Quick Picnic, who says, donating now as I am not able to watch the SGDQ live this week, but I will watch certain VODs for sure. Thanks for making this event. Thank you so much, Quick Picnic. And that really resonates with me because I don't know about the rest of you, but I definitely spend a lot of time throughout the year just throwing on the previous GDQ VODs and catching everything I missed. So round of applause just for everyone that's putting all the work into this event. We have an anonymous $128 donation who says, today is my dad's wedding. I am donating in his and his soon-to-be wife's honor, and I hope everyone has a great GDQ. KC Stranger donates $507. They say this donation is on behalf of my 26 employees in the United States and Philippines. I've been using a donation to Doctors Without Borders as an incentive for doing a boring part of their job. Big thanks to them for their hard work and to GDQ for supporting such a great cause. We have a $100 donation from Grana Saber MN. They say, hello, GDQ. It is very nice to see you all back here in person and in Minnesota. Let us all do everything we can to keep safe and have fun, don't you know? Say hi to your mom and dad for me and be good. We have a $15 donation from a poor college student who simply says, love watching SGDQ. Thank you so much, a poor college student. I strongly appreciate your $15 donation, and now is a great time, if there ever was one, to mention that every penny counts. Whether you can just give 15, 10, or 5, every dollar donation is greatly appreciated. Healer Down Crew donates $50, and they say, love to support great organizations like Doctors Without Borders. Thank you. Zelda Savvy, this is the energy I need right here. Thank you so much. Zelda Savvy donates $50, and they say, I can't yell hype while at work, so just know I'm yelling hype with my heart. And under my breath, hype. I love this one, $55 from Non-Binary Code. They say, there was a host reading words that we write, and a crowd ever ready to hype. There were fast-running scorers and Doctors Without Borders. I'm not good at limericks, but trans rights. We're ready to go. I just got news that we are ready to go, so give it up, everyone. We are heading to Super Castlevania 4. It's a race, low percent race with Crunan and DrunkenDraconian.
So it's going to be a very, very close race, 22 seconds apart. It's basically nothing if you think of the 40 minutes as a total runtime. So yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. And a word about the low percent rule set. Our runners are not allowed to pick up any whip upgrades or sub-weapons. So they have to make do with the leather whip only. And that is pretty much the entire challenge of this mode, the low percent mode. Boss fights really are boss fights because you have to whip down each individual pip of those bosses. And it's going to be a test of patience. It's going to be a test of, you know, how good do you know the strats? And it's going to be a test of endurance. So we're just waiting up here for both to start the race. You can see both are already at the starting screen here, the name entry screen.
Ready whenever you are, Eagle-Eye.
Yeah, I'm ready. Take it away, guys.
You can give us a countdown, and we'll get started.
All right. Start the races in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, everybody, this is stage 1. And what our runners are doing, they are basically doing nothing at all right here on the first screen. Normally, you would go for candles, whip them open to get your whip upgrade, but that's exactly what our racers are not doing because they're not allowed to pick anything up other than meats or like the rosary that kills all the enemies on the screen. But other than that, like I said before, it's leather whip only, and that is pretty much the rule set of low percent. And also keep in mind that the leather whip deals less damage than the chain whip. So we're gonna have to whip enemies more to actually kill them. But the overall appeal in the low percent category is that we're not whipping too much. We're trying to skip as many enemies as possible or boost off of them. So we're using hit points in order to accelerate off the enemy's hitbox to the right preferably, or whichever direction Simon needs to go. As I said before, our racers are allowed to pick up meats to replenish their lost health, which is going to be a lot of health lost and replenished. You can see both are picking up an invisibility potion or invincibility potion and a wall meat here. to restore all those lost health points. And as they cruise through stage 1 here, you can see them boosting off of those snake enemies here. Like I said before, you want to take advantage of as many damage boosts as you can, because our racers, they know where the meats are and where they can replenish their health. So if you have, oh, you could see here Crunan was opening that candle. You're not allowed to pick up the whip upgrade. That is the rule set of low percent. So if any of the racers were to pick up a whip upgrade, race rules would apply, which means that the racer that picked up the whip upgrade needs to kill himself as soon as possible and restart the level from the last checkpoint. Now we can see DrunkenDraconian already began the fight against stage 1 boss, Rodane. And you can see him do his trademark whip cancels, as well as Crunan. Ooh, you can see basically a frame-perfect kill on both sides of Rodane here. Very nice to see. So we're all set for stage 2, going perfectly into the next area, which is the forest or the graveyard. And Super Castlevania 4, of course, was one of the launch titles of the Super Nintendo, and for the time when it came out, visually very impressive game, and the gameplay was just top-notch. And still to this day, you can see a lot of runners run this game because it has a huge appeal still to this day. The music is great, the graphics are great, the gameplay is fantastic. You can see those armadillos enemies here. They take a lot of abuse with the leather whip. You have to whip them 3 times. And it's all about rhythm here in this stage, in this part of stage 2. Now we're going into the swamps, where we need to get rid of those birds. And those birds, they can behave pretty erratically. Sometimes they flutter around, sometimes they just stay in place, so our racers need to improvise on the spot here. We can still see that both DrunkenDraconian and Crunan are pretty much frame perfect here, side by side, neck and neck. And now the big first tester will be coming up, which is the boss fight against Medusa. Medusa is a very, very difficult boss in low percent. Very difficult to anticipate what she's actually doing. She's weaving back and forth, and it's completely RNG what she actually does and when she throws her snakes, or if she throws them far or wide or near. So yeah, racers have to make the best of her initial appearance here and just try to get her health down as low as possible. Both doing a very good job here, getting pretty good Medusa patterns overall. DrunkenDraconian with 1 pip of health less than Crunan, but that's not too bad. Can still take the majority of the damage boosts here. As I said before, our racers are allowed to pick up meats and invincibility potions to get them through the river section, and the current is working against them, so they need to jump out of the current as much as they can. While still getting boosted forwards here. And now they're both heading into the next section of stage... that was the end of stage 2, I'm sorry. Now stage 3. And stage 3 is one of the longer stages in this game, and stage 3 is a very technical stage altogether. Especially in low percent, where you need to make sure to pass all these enemies. Ideally, let them live and just try to boost off of them. So you want to make sure in low percent to kill everything you need to, but don't kill anything you don't have to. Also, these Mudmans here, the big Mudmans, they take 4 pips of health, so you want to make sure to not hit them. Both Crunan and DrunkenDraconian looking pretty good. DD a little bit lower on health, but that's not a problem going into the next screen. But now, yeah, he's down to 4, which means that he won't be able to do all the boosts on the waterfall section, on the submerged city section. And now we're going to see the first occurrence of the so-called ring glitch. DrunkenDraconian has to be careful here, navigating around those bone pillars. Just 1 pip of health. Now we're going to see Crunan do the ring glitch first. Yep, there we go. That's a little trick. CD4 runners do. Oh, DD taking an unfortunate death here on the fuzzy. Yeah, that hitbox of those fuzzies, it's a little wider than it might seem, so he just dipped a little bit into the hitbox of the fuzzy here, and like I said before, down to 1 pip of health. But it's not too bad, because on low percent you don't have any sub-weapons or whip upgrades to collect, so you're back on your feet pretty quick. Nevertheless, DrunkenDraconian needs to redo the entire section, whereas Crunan is already ahead, going into the second screen of the Sunken City section here. And this again is a very technical part of the entire stage. And a couple of intricacies on low percent here. You have to kill a couple of enemies you wouldn't normally have to, playing any percent or whip only. Also, the fact that your whip is shorter means that your swings are going to be shorter, so there's a number of things you can't do. For example, on the screen that Crunan is on right now, normally you would be able to do a second ring glitch of this ring you could see him swinging off of, but in this case he can't because the whip is just too short. Alright, and now Crunan's going to be the first one to head in the stage 3 boss fight, the Orphic Vipers. We're looking at 2 Viper heads that seem to move randomly, but they don't. So there's a fixed pattern to the movement of those Viper heads. Our runners know them, of course, and they're trying to take advantage of it as much as possible. And you can see now DrunkenDraconian also heading into the boss fight area here. It takes a while for the water to fill up, for the boss to actually appear. Whereas Crunan already finished up with the boss. Now you can see that DrunkenDraconian will be utilizing those quick whips, or as we call it in the biz, the whip cancels. And that is a technique that cancels out the animation of the whip. So there's a window of a couple of frames you can actually cancel the animations, retract the whip and just whip again to, shorten the intervals between whips while still dealing full damage. And what you have to take into account here is the lag that you're going to have during the boss fight against the Vipers. So you need to do finger acrobatics here with those whip cancels for sure. Crunan here getting pinballed around a little bit. Is going to go for a second meet because the next mid-boss here, Kuwaxel, he is one of the tougher bosses as well on low percent because his patterns are somewhat RNG too. And you might be running into a lot of resistance, you might be running into very little resistance, so it's actually a good idea to completely fill up your health. And Crunan himself is also a master at whip canceling. I mean, you're pretty much looking at the 2 top whip cancelers in the world, basically. I mean, not only the 2 top runners of low percent in the world, but the top 2 whip cancelers. And trust me, it might look easy, but it's not. There's a lot of patience required. There's a learning curve to those whip cancels, so kudos to both for being able to pull them off so smoothly. And it really helps a lot, especially in low percent, where you have to make every whip count. And now we're taking a break here in this section. Both runners are able to just sit down and relax their thumbs for a couple of seconds and maybe drink something, relax their eyes for a moment. Because the only thing you really need to do here is just sit down on this platform, duck, and do nothing. That is pretty much everything you need to do here. And this rotating room here is a Mode 7 demonstration. Konami built into this game to demonstrate the Super Nintendo's technical capabilities of these rotating rooms. So this is DrunkenDraconian now still on rotating room number 1, whereas Crunan is already on rotating room number 2. And it's got many names. We call it the tumbler, we call it just the rotating room, whatever you might call it. It has a number of names. You want to make sure here in this room, you can see DrunkenDraconian is still on it. You want to make sure to not kill enemies here, because killing enemies on this screen means lag, and it also means that you're opening the door for more spawns of those skeletons. As you could see right here, Commentator's Curse demonstrated on DrunkenDraconian's screen. So as soon as he killed one of those skeletons, another one popped out. Now Crunan's going to be the first one heading into the stage 4 boss fight. Coronaut is his name. And yeah, you know, the localization team was clearly having fun with this, because if you turn around Coronaut backwards, it spells ton of rock. And that's basically just what he is. He is just a rock golem and he throws rocks. So yeah, very appropriate. From here with a very good fight against Coronaut so far. There's also a trick you could apply here, which is called the early orb grab. Which means, you know, after every boss is defeated, an orb comes down, and you would actually be able to capture that orb while it's still mid-air. Crunan was trying to go for it, but didn't quite catch it. Yeah, it must have been 1 or 2 pixels away at most. There's a little bit of luck involved if you're actually going to be able to catch that orb early or not. Ooh, DD needs to look out just a little bit here. Maybe he can get the early orb grab, save a couple of seconds. Nope. All right, both into stage 5 now. Stage 5 is more of a transitional area than anything else. It's just the link between stage 4 and stage 6. It's also known as Dracula's Courtyard. And the only thing you need to take care of here are those harpies, flying enemies of all kind. And they spawn very randomly, so you don't have any say about when they appear and what they do. You just have to make the best out of it and not whip any of those candles here on the way, because keep in mind, we're still doing low percent. That means no whip upgrades allowed. Yeah, Crunan's taking a deep breath here, was able to pick up the meat before heading into Drax Castle. There's always a moment here when you hold your breath, trying to hope everything's going smooth, especially in low percent. Now this section is a little bit more complicated here. We have a number of enemies, and we have, you can see it, you have like candles every step of your way, so you want to make sure to kill those enemies in those small areas where there's no candles. Oh, yep. A little bit of a mistake here, a little mistake, Crunan. And Crunan now heading into the chandeliers section, which is those chandeliers swinging back and forth. A little bit of wacky movements here required on those chandeliers. There is a tech called one cycle chandelier where you're actually able to swing to move from the right to the left in one motion without any of those chandeliers swinging back. But I don't think we're gonna see this here. Yeah, now Crunan being the first to cross over the chandeliers into the next section. Breathes a sigh of relief here. And DrunkenDraconian heading towards the end of the chandelier section here. And this is here where Crunan is now. It's a pretty complex situation here. You have enemies from all the angles appearing, and he is also being chased by those two ectoplasms. You can see them here in the background as sprites at the edge of the screen. And you're gonna have to make sure to actually let them live. So you're not killing them in this category, just letting them live and trying to just outrun them. Crunan with a little bit of trouble here, but not too bad. Probably not gonna do the Anduin boost, the so-called. Also keep in mind, it's not too bad of a thing to die in low percent. Also, runners will be taking what is called a strategic death, which means both of our runners know where the checkpoints are in this game. So if you die, you're gonna restart from that checkpoint. Like Crunan is doing now. That was an intentional death. And what that does is that it refills Simon's health. And you can just continue on like nothing happened. So it's very beneficial to actually know where the checkpoints are in this game. Especially in low percent where there's nothing you can actually, you have to like restock. So there's no whip upgrades you need to restock. There's no sub weapons you need to restock. So everything you need, you already have. So whenever you die, adjacent to a checkpoint, it's basically a free refill. Oh, and DrunkenDraconian here on the first try with the death in transition. That's a very interesting mechanic in this game. Not only in this category, but you'd see it performed in low percent most of the time. And that means if Simon is low on health, and getting hit during a transition to the next screen, which would usually kill him, he's actually going to be refilled. Normally, if you had whip upgrades applied and sub-weapons, those would be taken from you. But as I mentioned, the only thing you need in this category is the leather whip. And that's all you need, that's all you get. So the death in transition is a perfect way of replenishing your health while losing, well, basically not losing any time. So now it's actually DrunkenDraconian heading headfirst into the fight against the dancers. And they're called Paula Abdul and Fred Scare. So yeah, the devs had fun with this one too. And there's, Crunan as well. So we're both on stage 7 here almost simultaneously. DrunkenDraconian with a little bit of an advantage here right now. But we still have so much game left, so it's very tough to say if there's any advantage for any of the racers. So yeah, this room on stage 7, the library, is a little bit of a complicated matter in the low percent category. There's lots of enemies on the entire screen, and there's axes being thrown across the screen, so you have to make sure to get through it as best as you can. DrunkenDraconian now on the descent towards the book jump area, which is a jump that saves about, I would say, 4 or 5 seconds. Let's see if he does the setup for it. Yeah, he's setting up for it. And a crossless book jump. Well done by DrunkenDraconian. Let's see if Crunan is setting up for the book jump. Yep. Getting on the edge. Very nicely done. We got a double book jump by both DrunkenDraconian and Crunan here. Very nice to see. And as I said before, it was a crossless book jump, so that means you could kill this red, or you could collapse them. You can't kill those red skeletons. But usually, doing any percent, you would be able to collapse them using the cross, but we don't have a cross here, so you have to jump onto the platform and actually whip him down. So that's another grade of difficulty added to it. Alright, DrunkenDraconian now being the first one heading into the last corridor before Gracool. He's going to be able to take one last meat here, and now he has to head into the Gracool fight with 6 pips of health, if I'm seeing that correctly. And yeah, that's gonna be something, because Gracool, yeah, when he decides to just walk away, there's nothing you can do. And you need to close in on him, and then it's actually getting dangerous. As you can see, he's now slamming here the ground with his axe, sending all those flames out. You have to make sure. DrunkenDraconian, whew. Yep, he's... Yeah, that was by the skin of his teeth. It's looking a little bit easier here for Crunan. But fight against Gracool is never easy on low percent. Then we can see both our racers heading into stage 8, and this is where things are getting very, very deadly. Because basically everything that has spikes on it here on this screen will kill you instantly. Like I said before, it's not too bad on low percent when you get killed. You always have to make sure to keep your lives in check, because you don't want to get surprised by game over mid-stage, because the game over will send you back to the very beginning of the stage. Alright, and both now, DrunkenDraconian headed over the bridge. That is the second to last section here of the stage. We can see Crunan is now heading onto the bridge. Alright, and we now... DrunkenDraconian is now approaching the so-called Vegas Bridge. And he's not going for it. So there's a method of actually just YOLOing this Vegas Bridge. And crossing it on the first cycle possible, but DrunkenDraconian decided not to go for this, as well as Crunan. And what you want to do against Frankenstein's monster here, the boss of stage 8, is just stand next to him and whip up. So that'll take care of both Frankenstein's monster and those elixirs or potions he's throwing at you. As we can see, DrunkenDraconian already heading into stage 9, which is the treasury chamber of Dracula's castle. Very deceivingly beautiful here, this part of the game. But there's pitfalls everywhere, so And the placement of those enemies, those golden skeletons, is just in a way that they will throw you down, especially on the next screen. You can see it. And what might just look very easy here from both of our racers is actually not so easy. So there's a lot of experience involved in how the enemies move, what they do, especially here in the section that DrunkenDraconian is now coming up to. He has to watch what this skeleton is doing. Is he jumping? Then he needs to stand and whip. Is he throwing a bone? Then he needs to advance. So there's really nothing more than that, other than just having the experience that you need to do certain actions when you see things happening on the screen. Just react accordingly to whatever is happening. Ooh, DrunkenDraconian nailing the the spike jump here, which is a very difficult tech to perform, to cross those spikes without wait time. Crunan taking a death here. I couldn't see if it was an intentional death or not. I think it was. Oof. Crunan dancing on the spikes here. Thank God he had invincibility frames. And we are looking at, on both sides now, we're looking at the next boss fight, which is Zapbat. So a word of warning on photosensitivity here. This is a very flashy boss, so please take any necessary precautions if you have a condition in photosensitivity. And our racers have to make sure to hit the Zapbat boss 33 times in order to make it split up into 3 smaller versions. So there's basically 2 phases to this boss fight. And it's all about breakup height, so you want to make sure to get the 33rd hit when the bat is exactly above your head, like done by DrunkenDraconian. Perfect breakup height, pretty much. And now he's just able to whip away and hit those 3 enemies at the same time. There you go, DD with a pretty much perfect Zapbat fight. Crunan in a little bit of bother here. Now you can see what happens if you don't gauge the breakup height perfectly. They just start to spread around and flap all over. That's exactly what happens to Crunan now. And the problem is the whip is so short, they're just out of reach when they're on the top of the screen. Also when they're flying through the bottom of the screen. So yeah, it's not a situation you want to be in. Alright, DrunkenDraconian now heading off into stage A. So not 8, but A. That's the hexadecimal system here in place with Super Castlevania 4. So we have stages A and B after 9. And this is the first occasion we hear the world-renowned Bloody Tears. Been a staple in any Castlevania game since Castlevania 2, Simon's Revenge, where the inception was of this song. You can even hear a rendition of the song in the Castlevania Netflix series, so that tells you how popular this theme is. Anyway, again, stage A, the clock tower section, very technical stage, very difficult to pull off properly with all the strategies in place. So there's a couple of fast climbs performed wonderfully here by DrunkenDraconian, just swinging all over those enemies, just leaving them all behind without killing any one of them. And that is a very tricky strat to pull off. Crunan looking very good on this strat too. Yeah, lovely. He's just making a stop here on the middle platform. No biggie, he's not losing any time with this. And now DrunkenDraconian being the first to head into the mummy boss fight. And the mummy boss fight on low percent could be very bothersome. And now he's shaking his head. He knows it's one of those spawns you do not want to have when you do low percent at all. Oh, Crunan with a couple of risky boosts here off of the skeletons. Grabbing the meat on the way to mummy. Crunan now with a more favorable spawn. Oh no! And now he's getting knocked off the platform by bandages. Oh, now DrunkenDraconian, of course, with the clear advantage. And keep in mind, low percent means leather whip, means less damage, significantly less damage. So we're gonna have to do close to 70 or 80 hits on mummy to actually kill it with the leather whip, and that's going to take a while. And now, yeah, DrunkenDraconian adding another cycle to the fight. And now Crunan with the left side spawn as well. That's the one spawn you do not want to have a low percent. Unfortunately, none of Erasers was left out with that low percent, with that left spawn pattern. You can see Crunan here doing his signature whip cancels on the lower left platform. And the fact that the space here is very limited means that Crunan is now, you can see he's putting he's putting his entire body into the whip cancel motion here, and doing them while standing still, locked into place with the jump button held, adds another layer of difficulty. So very well done on his part. Oh, DD with a little bit of risky whipping here. Because keep in mind, if you open any of those candles, it'll be a whip upgrade. Because he has 5 hearts, and that means that every little heart is going to be a whip upgrade. Should he touch one, that means killing himself. Losing precious time. Now those crumbling stairs here, they are very treacherous. You have to... Ooh! DD, he's making it exciting here. He's opening the door for Crunan to close in just a little bit. So whenever those stairs have crumbled down, there's no way back. So you have to make sure to absolutely have true inputs, because you need to push up or to the side to climb those stairs. So if you don't have the D-pad, full control over the D-pad, you might just fall down. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you've made it so far, and this is basically the final push in this game, in this low percent Super Castlevania 4 race. And we're now looking at the 4 final bosses of the entire game. And the first one of those 4 is Slogra. And you could see he is doing one of his signature dashes here on DrunkenDraconian. That is about a 10% chance to occur in every one of those cycles in the first phase. And DrunkenDraconian had to bite the bullet on this one. And there's nothing you can do to accelerate this fight. You just have to duck down, whip, rinse and repeat. There's no shortcut or anything. Especially in low percent, it's a test of patience. And you're gonna have to make sure to evade his dashes, which he's doing in phase 2 all the time. His deep dashes, as you can see here. There's a small window of, I would say maybe 6 or 8 frames, where you can actually evade this beak dash. But sometimes you're gonna fumble the jump or whatever, and he's just gonna hit you. Not in this case, DD getting through. There's a bunch of meats here in those candles, which he will take to replenish his health. Going into the Gaibon fight, which is number 2 on the list here in this last push. Looks like Crunan is having a perfect Slogger fight here. Very well done. Yeah, so Gaibon, he's the flying enemy of this trio. Fighting him can be a little cumbersome because he's up in the air. And you can see here that the reach of the leather whip is very limited. And even when you see the whip hitting the hitbox of this enemy, it doesn't always connect the hit. Because the hitbox of Gaibon is a little wacky. Right, so now DD replenish on health, going into the death fight. Death fight can be a little bit strange on low percent too if it decides to just stay on top and float around. Which we're pretty much looking at now on DrunkenDraconian screen. Yeah, death is not coming down. So there's 2 different things he might be doing, which is either stay at the top. Look at this. DrunkenDraconian with a streak of bad luck here. He just won't come down. Now DD has to be careful not to get the last hit in, and he was fortunate enough. And you can see here on the left side, on Crunan's side, that death came down for Crunan. Oh, but now Crunan has to look out. One more hit and he'll be history, and that's it. Crunan, no. Oh, you could call it commentator's curse or whatever, but you could always call it just low percent because that's what happens in low percent. You have to get so many hits in, and it's sometimes it can be a real chore. All right, DrunkenDraconian, the first to head into the Dracula fight here. And this is a test of patience too. The Dracula fight on low percent is, in fact, a very difficult fight. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Oh, Crunan needs to watch out. Don't die a second time here. You will breathe a sigh of relief here. So there's meat phases on this Dracula fight, which means you can replenish your health on those little fireflies here. Once open, they drop a meat, as seen demonstrated here by DrunkenDraconian. Always make sure to evade those flames. You can see him on top first, and then the flames will come out the bottom. So that's always a way to anticipate where those flames will come up. But it's still sometimes very hard to anticipate it and actually see it. So sometimes they'll just hit you. There's not much you can do about it. And it's looking very good for DrunkenDraconian. Steady hand here. He is almost full on health. Crunan decided to take it a little easy here, not performing any whip cancels. Because the thing is with whip cancels, you can now he's whip canceling. Back to it. DrunkenDraconian only 2 pips away from victory. 1. And DD did it. Dracula down for DrunkenDraconian. We call him DD. Time's gonna be when he touches the orb. Meat drop for Crunan. Now looking into phase 2, going into phase 2 with 4 Dracula health pits. And for DrunkenDraconian, it's time. Okay, now we're looking at Crunan finishing off Drac here in the second phase. Full health, no problem. You can go all out. And there he goes, Dracula down for Crunan. Oh, man. That race was decided on the drag battle, which we always love to see during the races. So give it up for those two. What an amazing race. And what an honor to be here to commentate on this. And time for Crunan.
Yeah, overall, those were some good times.
Yo, GG, DD.
Yeah, GG Crunan. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And
Back
thanks
and
for
forth.
the commentary, Eagle-Eye. Yeah, were you deathless until death?
I think I took a silly death. In front before the mummy, or like right at the mummy. Yeah, there were a couple of small things here and there, but death was the only like real big mistake. I just got vortexed inside and was like, oh, well, maybe I have one pip left. I can try to run away. Couldn't run away.
No, you get stuck in there. It's kind of unfair. Yeah. I don't have really too much to say other than thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for allowing us to show this really fun game. I really suggest people look into this game. There's more categories. They're a little bit more accessible than low percent. Any percent, whip only. Lots of fun ways to play it. Come check it out.
Also shout outs to Kenshin Trek. He wanted to be here for the commentary, but due to technical difficulties, he couldn't make it. So, yeah, shout outs to Kenshin Trek. He's a valued member of the CV4 community, and we're going to have him here next time.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone from the staff at SGDQ, as well as everybody who's there in person and online. And special shout out to my wife, Athilia, who's allowing me to practice over the last couple months. And of course, the Castlevania community.
Congrats on that run. Let's get a couple donations in here real quick. We have $50 from Polarity Bear, who says, the best part of having GDQ live this year is that we can get more people in the crowd to join in on yells of, Orb! Here's $50 for more orbing or morbing to come in the Castlevania block. We're gonna take a quick break, but we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone. Don't forget, you're watching Summer Games Done Quick 2022, live from Bloomington, Minnesota. So exciting. I think we're almost ready to go to an interview. But first, we've been reading these limericks, right? And I just want to read one more because I really like this one. GlitchCat7 donates $5, and they say, I saw a brave speedrunner strive for the glory of hitting sub 5. Their gameplay was splendid and perfect when ended. Alas, they forgot to go live. Thank you so much for that, Glitch Cat. All right, we're gonna go to an interview. Take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2022. My name is Sent, and joining me, as always, is the ever-incredible Mr. Game and Shout.
Hello, hello.
Shout, it's Monday already, and we have already raised $172,000 for Doctors Without Borders.
It's incredible. It's amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. I am so excited. We've got a bit of a Castlevania block going, one of my favorite series of games. And we've got, of course, some great prizes going as well. All the prizes we're talking about right now are available from now until the end of the Grand Theft Auto Vice City run a little bit later today. I'm going to tell you, $25 minimum donation is going to get you entered into all of the prizes we're about to talk about. So make sure to get that donation in and get it in before the end of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Now, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So first up, we have this amazing copy of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger HD. We saw a little run of it earlier in the marathon. It's by Billy Phoenix. It's right.
Did you not get that?
I thought you had it. Oh, come on.
I had.
Someone brought it, right?
What? Oh, hello.
Hey, I found this. Do you need some help with the prizes?
Yay!
All right.
Hey,
What's going on? How you all doing?
Everyone, joining us, we have Frozen Flygon. How have you been? We haven't seen you since Frost Vitals.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here on the main line separated couches with you all today and with the crowd. I'm super excited. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. So I know you're a big Ty fan.
Yes, I love this game. This is one of the games I played with like my cousins when I was younger on my PlayStation. And this is the HD remake for the Switch. So if you never had that, if you don't have that console anymore, you can still play the remake. And the run earlier was fantastic.
Excellent. $5 minimum donation from now until the end of Grand Theft Auto. Thank you to Billy Phoenix for sending that in. Make sure to get those donations. Now, from our good friend Iggy Zig, an excellent host, we have this absolutely lovely Super Mario green pipe planter. It's a planter shaped after a Mario pipe. What more is there to say about it? It's really cool. The pipe actually, really easily disassembles from the block it's on top of. You could put a very small plant in it. Just watch out. They usually have teeth.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not good with plants, so one that feeds itself is very convenient.
Indeed. Chow, would you like to talk about some of the Korok plushes we have?
Absolutely. So Vanny Lou has sent in a set of pocket Korok plushes. That is $15 minimum donation to get into Windows. You can see a picture of them up on the website, gamesdonequick.com. Check out the donate link while you are there. Check out the prizes we have available. Do not miss this. Again, available through the end of Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yep, set of 6 of them for a $15 minimum donation. You can hide them wherever. You can make your own little Breath of the Wild Korok challenges. They're absolutely adorable and super fuzzy. Now from Pearl Pop, we have this absolutely lovely Link's Awakening perler depicting the scene of Link and Marin on the beach. One of the optional photographs you can get in Link's Awakening. Big fan of this. I mean, again, this is a perler. This is beautiful. We talked about it earlier. I talk about it every time. There are kind of 2 styles of thought behind perlers. You can either go super flat or you can go basically almost see-through. And I can tell you right now, I can actually see the camera operators through this perler right now. That is how clean this is done. Huge shout outs to ProPop for sending it out to us. $20 minimum donation from now until the end of GTA.
Indeed. From Ko Clara for a $20 minimum donation, we have, I love the paper art that Ko Clara comes up with. So this is Link's Awakening. We've got Link and the Windfish, and there's a little bit of a 3D effect, a little bit of shadow boxing on this that it's raised up off the background. Absolutely gorgeous. Huge fan of this one.
Truly fantastic. Very memorable scene for those who have played Link's Awakening. Spoiler alert, that's the ending. But it's super cool. I love the little beads they put on the Windfish, too.
I haven't played.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Well, now it's already been spoiled. Might as well watch some runs of it.
Yeah, no, now you can
Now
just
you're
enjoy
good.
the ride.
That works. That works.
From Aaron McLaughlin, we have this lovely Sheikah Eye cross stitch. This is a cross stitch pattern of, the Sheikah symbol. It's on, the slate in Breath of the Wild. It just looks super cool. And again, this is a handmade cross stitch. This is like several thousand stitches.
Oh yeah.
And I love that it comes with that frame that really accents the circle in the middle. It matches so well. It's really well done.
Yeah, it's really nice. I actually really like the contrasted color. Usually when you get something framed, it's like a white frame or, a black painted frame. I like the nice bright blue
Absolutely
to kind
agree.
of contrast it. And it's also the same color as the eye in the Sheikah symbol.
Yeah.
So really lovely, $25 minimum donation. And thank you so much to Aaron McLaughlin for sending that out to us. And from our friend Carolyn Design, we have this lovely GTA Vice City black light painting. This painting actually, glows, lights up under a black light. A little bit hard to show here. We under quite a bit of lighting, but trust us. And if you head over to gamesdonquick.com, we might actually be able to get a picture of that reaction happening for you all. It's a $25 minimum donation. I mean, aside from the black light effect, it's a super cool vaporwave aesthetic,
It's
right?
just a stunning drawing or paint. And the black light's just an added bonus. It's gonna be so cool to see.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm always a sucker for that whole setting sun with the color bars going through it. That's an aesthetic favorite of mine. So again, everyone, $25 minimum donation is going to get you entered into all of these prizes. And remember, that's going to get you 1/8 of the way towards our grand prize, which is a Heroic Replicas bundle that includes the Falchion from Fire Emblem. It includes Sly Cooper's cane from the Sly Cooper series, as well as several other smaller items done by Heroic Replicas. They are absolutely amazing. Make sure to go over to gamesdonquick.com, check out a picture of them. That's $200 cumulatively throughout the marathon. So $25 before GTA is going to get you entered into everything we talked about. $175 at any point throughout the marathon is going to get you entered into that grand prize. And as always, you can head over to gamesdonquick.com. You can see, images of all of these lovely prizes, but you could also see the status of some incentives that we have going.
Yeah.
We're trying to get a bonus game into the marathon a little bit later tonight, the Five Nights at Freddy's run. We're still, I believe, about $60,000 off of making that happen. But, looking at our donation pace, I know that it's an inevitability.
Absolutely.
We've
Make it
all
happen.
got this. Remember, your donations are going directly to the amazing, amazing charity that is Doctors Without Borders. And they're going to amazing causes. Frozen, it's great to have you here. I'm so excited to have another person to help us, another person to talk about prizes, another person to just, bring your light and energy to this stage. But for everyone out there, don't go anywhere. Don't miss the end of Castlevania Block, because you do not want to miss the maestro of portable Castlevania Jupiter Climb playing Harmony of Dissonance.
All right, Polarity Bear donates $50, and they say, the best part, I actually just read that one, I'm so sorry. Okay, never mind. Braylon donates $25. They say, one of the best weeks of the year. Glad to see a live audience, even if I can't be there. Good luck to all the runners, and thank you to all the staff and volunteers for a great event. All together now. Okay, and this one's pretty short. Not Stole 337. Donates $5, and they say, Castlevania, TBH. Well, we're about to. Here is Jupiter Climb with Castlevania, Harmony of Dissonance.